Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to yet another episode of The Gloving Paradigm. I am your host, Peter, aka LPD Dubuque, and this week is going to be one of those topics that I'm kind of surprised I did not cover sooner because I'm not entirely sure why. It's never come up across my head before, but I'm going to go ahead and cover it now. And what that topic is for this week is getting new people into gloving and how to get more people into gloving. The main reason why I thought about this episode was I was sitting at work and I was just working on some stuff and it just kind of popped in my head about getting more people into gloving, and I'm sitting there going like, why haven't I done this before? So yeah, sorry about that, but this is gonna be that episode, so don't worry, it's all good. Anyways, yes, so what this episode is pretty much going to be entailing is just pretty much talking about how people have gotten people into gloving and some of the things that they have done, and I will also be pretty much exploring a lot of the stories that I have from the times that I've gotten people into gloving. So it's going to be all that kind of fun stuff. To me, it's just going to be a really, really fun episode because this is something I do like talking about. I always like the idea of newcomers coming in, always showing them the ropes and letting them have that wonderful time of exploration and imagination just take hold of them. So there are pretty much three main reasons why, in my opinion at least, well, there's a plethora of reasons, but these are the three overarching reasons why I find it very important for us to actually try to get more people into gloving. Well, the first one is, of course, is to keep the art form alive. It can sustain itself, but if you never add any more new people in, it kind of dies off over time. If you think about it, it's one of those things I just don't understand why there would be any art form that has any gatekeeper mentality type deal. And of course, one of the best reasons to try to get more people into gloving is because you make new friends that way. You get somebody who's never really seen gloving before, they see you do it, and they get interested, and then you talk to them about it, and now you have something to actually establish a newfound relationship between yourself and this person. Therefore, why not? I can't really actually think of a reason why you wouldn't want that at all. Yeah. So, and the other main big reason for me, at least, to do this is it keeps you invested. It keeps you invested in gloving because you get somebody who also is interested in gloving and is going to start investing into the art form as well. Therefore, you have somebody actually communicate with and bounce ideas off of and all that great jazz, because that's pretty much how it's always been when it came to gloving as it is. So, what are some of the ways that you can get people interested? Well, there's plenty of ways to do it. I know when I tell people that I'm a glover and they're not really sure, first thing I tend to do is just show them a video. The main reason is because I usually tell people it's kind of hard to explain. As much as you can be like, yeah, it's easy to explain. You stick lights and gloves, you stick the gloves on your hands, and you wiggle your fingers around. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. But I just kind of feel like that doesn't really elaborate on the art form itself. So what I like to do is give them an actual visual representation of what gloving is, and just let them kind of deduce it for themselves. That's how it's always been for me. I don't, like I said, I just don't like the whole, you just stick lights and gloves and you stick the gloves on your hands and you wiggle your fingers. That doesn't sound like somebody should take that seriously, if that makes any sense. That's not what I want gloving to be perceived by, is something of that kind of definition. So I would rather let the art form speak for itself when it's demonstrated to the person. That's just my thing. So videos are always going to be the quick and easy way. I always just tell people it's kind of hard to explain, so let me just show you a quick video clip and you're pretty much good from there. That's how it's always been for me. I know when some people start getting interested after I show them a video, then yeah, I'll show them like maybe a tutorial here and there. Tutorials is always a good thing. My recommendation is that you just show them some basic moves so people can kind of get a grasp of what it's all about, like finger rolls or whips or tunnels or whatnot. Just something very basic that people can actually just look at and kind of get the idea by doing it themselves without really actually putting a lot of effort into it. Until they actually get very interested and actually start putting a lot of effort into it. So let me just kind of clarify that part. So You got your own videos. I always like showing my own videos just because, it's an opportunity for you to show your own videos, so why not? And of course, you're showing them what you're able to do. And I know some people might not like doing that because it can feel a little self-conscious, or they kind of, I don't want to say belittle themselves, but they kind of downplay themselves as, yeah, it makes you humbling, but you got to put in some pride in your craft, regardless if you started like a week ago or you've been doing it as long as I have, which is going on 9 years. You got to put some pride in yourself when it comes to your craft. Okay, so please do not downplay your skill level just because you only been doing it for like a couple of months. We all had to start somewhere, and not all of us just got it just like that. Like we actually had to work on it. So don't downplay yourself. And then, of course, you can always just show them the very popular ones. You can literally show them the Gummy Show, which, if I remember correctly, that had like 3 million views, 4 million views. I don't know. I haven't checked it in a while, so, sorry. But, of course, you can always do that one. And you can just show them any of the well-known glovers that you're very, very a huge fan of, that you really, really enjoy watching their shows. If that's what got you interested into gloving, then maybe that will help them get interested in gloving. You got Puppet, Mez, Munch, Gummy, Fry, Flo, Jess. I can go on and on and on and just list as many well-known glovers as I can, but I don't really see the point in doing that. But as long as you guys get the point of what I'm trying to get across, that's totally fine. So you have that ways in terms of videos. What I like doing more often than not is actually do a demonstration and doing things of demonstrations. The best way it's always worked for me is giving somebody a light show and just letting them kind of take it in from there. I had my friend Dustin, never heard of gloving before, and I don't blame him considering what he's been doing with his life. But anyways, yeah, I remember having him over at my house one time when I was talking about gloving and stuff, and he asked about it, and I was just like, how about I just show you? And so I set my stuff up, got him all sitting in his spot, gave him a light show, and he was like instantly hooked and just wanted to get into it right there and then. So giving people a show is pretty much a really easy way, because one, they're actually going to see how you enjoy it, and if they like to see you enjoying it, then they might go, hey, I would like to enjoy it too, so why not give it a try? Showing them your gloves, of course, is always going to, and of course, one of my favorite things is just letting them play with your gloves. As long as they're not going into the programming portion of it, you should be fine. But don't be so hesitant to let somebody play with your gloves. If it's somebody you know and you want them to get into gloving and they're showing interest in it, don't hesitate to let them play around with your gloves. That's what I've always done, and I know with my setup it gets a little awkward for them, but as long as they understand how to work it, it's totally fine. So those are one of the biggest ways. I find it just giving them a show. If the setting is appropriate for it, go ahead and do it. Other than that, just kind of let them play around with their gloves and let them kind of get a feel for it. Another huge thing that I actually liked doing a lot, and this is what I got a lot of people into, is actually taking them to an event, with me. When I was in Flagstaff, I had this place I always go to, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers know what I'm talking about. It's a little bar called the Green Room in Flagstaff. Wonderful place. Every Wednesday night I would go there. It would be like this little mini rave scene where it's about 40 to 50 people at most. A lot of the regular people that just came and hang out and had a fun time and listened to good music. Oh gosh, that place was awesome. So I had a friend who she got interested in gloving because of me, and I decided to bring her with me to the Green Room, and she's been there before, but she's never really gone there in the context of actually going there to perform a gloving show, doing any form of gloving whatsoever. So I kind of wanted to show her how I go about it when I'm at an event. And as much as everyone's going to say, well, this is a really casual event, you should have taken it to a bigger event, I don't really see it being necessary to take somebody who's interested in gloving to a big, massive event. Like, yes, that's something you want them to see, but I feel like that's something you want to build up to. You don't want to give them this whole culture shock effect where it's just like, hey, let's go to EDC where you have 400,000 people all around you and it's like overwhelming. Like, no. You want to take them to a much more casual setting where it's not so many people, You have good music, it has a good environment, and of course it's a place that allows you to actually glove, So that's why I like the green room so much, because it was pretty much like the very casual setting. Like, to me, the best way I can describe it, it's like Friday Night Magic equivalent. It's just this casual place that you can go to, hang out with people, and just do what you ever want to do. In this case, it would be going out to glove and just giving people light shows. So that actually really, in my opinion, really helped propel her interest into the art form itself, because she got to see it in the full experience, if that makes any sense. I feel like when somebody actually goes to an event and actually tries to glove and give people light shows, they're actually getting the full experience of what this is all about. And that's something I always want to introduce to people who are interested in gloving, is just, take them to a very low number casual type show and let them just have fun. It's not so much pressure on them, and I can understand that they're very nervous. Who wouldn't be on their first time out? But, having somebody there, like, say with my friend Ashley, she had me there, so she was actually way more comfortable and way more relaxed, just because she knew that she had somebody there who was doing it with her, and it just allowed that sense of tension to kind of disappear for her, So those are ideas of how to get somebody interested in it. And when somebody wants to get in and actually start gloving, there are many different ways to go about that as well. The one thing I love doing, and I don't know how to explain it fully why I like doing this, but I just love doing this, is that when somebody is very, very interested and they want to get in and they want a pair of lights and they really, they don't really know where to go from there, I like giving them my old sets. Like when I got the Chroma 24s, I gave my Oracles away, which I probably kind of regret, because they were great and I loved them, but at the same time they were collecting dust, and I would much rather give it to somebody who's going to put some use into them rather than let them collect dust. And I know some people might say that that's blasphemy, but to me it's me sharing something that I find very near and dear to my heart, and giving them something that I have sentimental value to, kind of adds this level. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it, but it adds this nuance to it that I feel like people kind of are more determined to do it, because it's showing them that I'm willing to give up something that I hold near and dear to me, to allow them to have the opportunity to feel what I'm feeling, what that I get out of gloving. You know what I mean? So giving somebody an old pair of gloves, it's never a bad idea. I still have a pair of Chroma 24s that I'm just waiting for somebody in person to actually get interested in gloving, and I just give those to them. I actually think that's a great idea, and because the Chroma 24s, they didn't have the mode swap features where you can actually switch out the modes, so I feel like it makes it a little bit easier for them to actually get into it. Not only that, I don't see them programming every single mode and trying to use every single mode like I tend to do, but it gives them a good starting point. And of course, you can definitely just refer to my gloving on a budget episode to give them a good price point, because once again, gloving doesn't really have a bar to entry like certain other things do. Like Magic the Gathering, for example, you gotta drop a good couple $100s if you want to play in a strong competitive scene. But that's not the case when it comes to gloving, which is fantastic in my book. If it's just here, pay about $40 to $50 to get a pair of gloves that's going to last you a very long time, that's a very low bar to entry, in my opinion. So helping them choose something, helping them try to figure something out. I know when it comes to the programmer sets, I know that can be a little daunting for new glovers, but we have plenty of different sets that you can choose from. And again, refer to my gloving on a budget episode if you actually need to help them try to actually save some money, because that episode was as formative as it can make it. So those are the few ways to do it. I would also say, if you actually have groups that you go and hang out with that are glovers, bring them with you, because why not? You're bringing them to other like-minded people who share very same interest in the same craft, so why not? And of course, you can also refer to them to the online groups like Glovers Lounge, Art of Gloving, Worldwide Gloving Group, Glovers United. As much as some people might disagree with me on certain groups, it's a place where people can meet more glovers and things like that, and allows them to actually really delve into the community as well. As much as some people might disagree with me about the representation in certain groups, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, so you have those, and of course, you have one of the greatest things that you can always tell them. Share the gloving content that people create. For example, like my podcast. Just let them know it is totally free for them to listen to, and there's no obligation for them to continue listening. But it at least lets them know that there are people out there creating content about gloving to help people get into gloving. You know, it's really simple in my book, so why not? You know, and it's not just mine that you have to share. Please share the gloving nucleuses. Share all the tutorial stuff that like Jess and all them do, and show them yougotmoves.com so they can actually get onto an e-learning academy and actually learn the basics and things like that. Like, for crying out loud, there's so much stuff in terms of content that people are creating for gloving that it shocks me that I don't see enough advertisement and promotion for these, you know, these content stuff. Like, yes, in the groups that there are plenty of it, but I mean outside of that. So you have all these different content creators out there that are making content for you guys and making these videos for you guys to actually enjoy and help people out. So show them that stuff too, because it, you know, allows them to actually work on it on their own personal time. And then when they come back to you and talk to you about it, then you have it, you know, you have things to discuss about. So, you know, that's pretty much it. Like that's a lot of the stuff that you can do, and you know, that's what I liked doing. Now, I will certainly say when I was getting people into gloving that, one, I was not doing this podcast. And secondly, you know, I was just doing it out of my own fun and, you know, just enjoying myself and watching people actually get interested and enjoying themselves afterwards. It's been one of the greatest rewards. And I'll certainly tell you this. If you have an old pair that you're willing to give away to somebody who's just new, there is nothing more satisfying, in my opinion at least, to see somebody actually just get a new pair, no money, because I don't know. It's like watching somebody open their first Christmas presents. It's just fantastic. So if you have an old pair that you're willing to give away, do not hesitate to actually just give it to the person who's interested in gloving, because it saves them trouble, it saves you trouble, and it allows you to get them into it and get working at it immediately, you know. And I always like that. I feel like when you give away an old pair that has sentimental value to you, like the Chroma 24s, they have a good amount of sentimental value to me because I put in a lot of time and effort with them. I've, you know, put my blood, sweat, and tears into that set, you know. And when I got the Chroma controls, yeah, they got put away and they're kind of been sitting collecting dust, but there will be a person who will come around and be like, I wanted to get into gloving, and they're hanging out with me, and it gets to the point where they're interested enough that they want a set, and I'll just, here you go, and here's a fresh pack of batteries that you can take with you. You know, that's just how I like doing it. I always enjoy doing it that way. So, you know, but if they don't want to take your gloves and they want to try to find a set, then help them find a set. You know, you have all these different ways to do it. But that's pretty much it for the episode. I would definitely like to thank everybody who has been listening in and has been enjoying the content so far. Honestly, I've been seeing a good steady growth that has been rather constant. I'm up to, as the time of this recording, up to 149 likes. So we're very, very close to that next 100 mark. So, you know, 51 more people like the page, then we hit the 200 mark, and then we get on to the next Ask Me Anything. That's going to be really, really exciting. I would love to do that again. Another thing I definitely want to know is, what do you guys think? What are some of the ideas that you had to help people get in? I know a lot of people said that they just, you know, practice around their friends and they get people interested through events and festivals and stuff, which is all great. You know, but you also have people that you meet outside of those events and festivals and stuff that get interested as well. So I definitely wanted to cover that as well. But I definitely want to hear from you guys what you guys have done to get somebody interested in gloving. You know, I find these stories to be very interesting and fascinating for me, because you have so many different ways for it to happen, and there's sometimes it actually comes out rather comical, in my opinion, how things tend to turn out a lot of the time. So, you know, I have various places that you can hit me up at. Of course, you guys know I have a Facebook page. It is aptly named The Gloving Paradigm, so you can actually send me a message there if you would like to, or just leave me a comment. You know, you also have my email, which is muttonchopguy@gmail.com. You can definitely send me an email there, and I can have a conversation with you. It's totally fine. Of course, you can also find me on Reddit. I'm under the username Mutton Chop Guy there as well. And of course, I do have a Discord server that you guys can get onto that, is totally free, so don't worry about that. Definitely like to get more people in there so we can have a little bit more discussions on topic ideas. So you have those for me. I definitely want to hear from you guys about certain things. What other topics would you guys like me to cover on? There's just so much that I can sit here and talk to you guys about that I would love to hear from you. So please do not hesitate to voice your opinions and your thoughts. It would be fantastic. It gets this thing going for me, So, but yes, once again, thank you to everybody who has liked the page so far. Holy crap, I'm so happy to see that the show is progressing and is growing. Slowly but surely it's growing, but regardless, any growth is good growth in my opinion. And it's extremely humbling to me that you guys really take interest in what I have to say and what I'm trying to do. So, I really, really cannot express how grateful and thankful I am to have you guys actually continually listening in and giving me the feedback that I would like to have. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. But that is pretty much all for my episode. I am your host, Peter, aka LPD8 Dubuque, and I'll see you guys all next week.